as the different rights holder groups and the duty bearers. I usually I fall in two groups. I am a duty bearer, but at the same time I'm a rights holder. Because I'm a youth, and there are issues that affect me that I need duty bearers to address, but also other stakeholders to address. Yes, for the sake of this discussion, we are going to take only 30 minutes before we have our lunch. Some of the issues I've gotten them, some of them have not. And at this point in time, what we're going to do is a question-answer session. I am glad that we have a very important person in this room, the CBO. You're most welcome. The CBO is very central to issues that affect the people at the grassroots. So what I'm looking for are the information from Wawanti, who could be us, because I'm also Wawanti somehow, because there are issues that affect me, but also the different leaders in this region. This is an oil region. So at this point in time, I want us to discuss the vulnerability aspect of the different rights holder groups. Boys works with 4 rights holder groups. Works with the age discriminated, these are the elderly and the youth, the sex minorities, the persons with disabilities, the women facing exploitation, violence and abuse, who could be women who are widowed, women with HIV, it could be those victims of domestic violence. Here we are not actually looking at only PWDs. There are intersectionality issues. There could be a person with disability who is HIV. He's also facing some challenges. We could have persons with disability who are LGBTI. We could be having persons with disability who are widowed, who are single mothers. So what we are going to discuss is cutting across. So let's look, we are also in families with people who are not actually PWDs, but a youth who could be having challenges. So we are talking in totality. Let's not limit it to only PWDs. We are looking at everyone. Okay. So at this point in time, I want us to discuss the vulnerability aspect of it. Right? So what are those things that are making us not to be included in some government programs, but not only government programs? What are the things that are making us vulnerable? Actually, the duty bearers, some of the duty bearers, take it for granted that they know. And yet some of them do not know. And those who know, some extent do not do what they are supposed to do, especially when it comes to the rights, the vulnerable groups. I'm going to give an example. We work with children, and children have been moving around councils. The vulnerable children, girl children, children with disabilities, petitioning councils on accessibility, on many issues. But you would find counselors who would be supporting these children. Are they supposed to come here? Who allowed them? And yet the children took all the processes. And you start from zero to create awareness to the council. And we are glad that we are coming out. So, that one, taking it for granted that they know when they do not, and those who know do not put it in practice, makes people vulnerable.
The duty bearers, some know, but we have a handicap of legal resources. Much as we would want to implement, much as we would want to assist, but we are handicapped by the legal resources. Take an example. The funding now at is still at the rate of the municipality. What can one do now?
ndaba kurasi nowekinsangire muno omubyalo bekyezikurumu itu abantu abanyakwina obulema abakaine batusosora bibakulisanizeyo ng'otali muntu kutakusobola kukola kintu kyona ate nawe noikalo yenobere nobakwali olukulato iwe tojja kgenda yo bwe mutya omukono gwabo tibakukoma bagamba ate ogwo omuzibe agenda kutugambira ki kandi obwe omuzibe tibajja kuweza nakasente oba kalooni bajjagamba okubanyaga
access to finance.
habwokwangu yo tokulwa togenda kola emirimu yamu kukuba kugonza ogirukanize twatuherezaho obwire ogamba ngo abakwati tuli boinaho obulema tukole mpolampola ekintu ekindi muno nko abaana banyakwinaho obulema abazaire abali omu makooko tibabatwala nk'ekikulu bakamulekera ngo baana okusobola agenda haiziba okusobola agenda kulima okusobola kukola omulimu guno baikala ne bagamba mbu gwali mulema talina kyakwesobola byona ekintu ekindi abasajja bakutulaba ebyakubita abakazi abanyakwinaho obulema tibakoza nokutwala nawo nomukapate
Twala out. Kibazeho. Tibatwala out wama.
tibagoza nokugamba nti mungono mukyala wange obuhaijira abagenyi akugamba oikale kanyuma kyo kandi niwo mukyala niwe nyina maka.
Thank you, madam.
Ate ebintu ebyo nosanga ngo tumaziremu amaanyi tukusobola kugalina ekyo tukemeeraawo nkaita abakazi abanyakwina obulema kandi n'abantu abali mu family zo nobakuba ne bagaba emigabo tibatuheereza ngu olwakolaki nkukuha eitaka olwalirima olwalikoolamu kati nitwikala twenobe abafwakati tuyitwa abakazi ababaire tuli bafwakati abantu mu families ezindi bakwikala ne batugobeza ekyakyo munagamba ngo abakozi buli mukasi anyakwinaho obulema nyowe abaana ngenda kubalolerera ninyatolonzonanziza ebintu byabaise waabwe iwe takubalamu oba kugamba bafuna administrator wefamily egyo iwe takuteekayo ngo abakozi oyinaho obulema tokusobola agenda Kampala kutemba ebaasi obala kutwala kulimanya ali bagenda kola ebintu byabo waliwo manya bagamba binga upstairs iwe tolagende obala koza document igisoma iwe tokujja kugisoma habwokuba otasomoka ikala omuko abwokubaho obulemu ebintu ebyo bikane kusiimooza omu maka gaitu
Hassan Kaija amabara ebisigaye olwainterpretinga oraseruliza mu East Africa tukolesa Luswahili tukajja kukolesa olunyo lulwana ekyokubanza information flow from the center kuruga mu government tukumigirizibwa for example saze eno mu Geta Oil City FID ekasayiningwa tuku expectinga mu region za mafuta zenu ku investing about $300 million or $300 billion za dollars tunkabusa hamanyire esente zijja gobe rwaki itwena tukatwe tuli mu Oil City saze tusora kutura about takozere the benefiting kali basayiningire na agreement tutukumanye bikotaka na mafuta tukubura buhura mbigambo bawo habize go muntu ogya go boroto mafuta omuntu akugamba ebyo byabakozere byabasomere bogamba to mulime mugya go boro mafuta nkulimaki nkutuna nkaha nkukuzoha nkulima politics information tekozere tero chonka to Geta Oil City so ege information ege mu center government kakola police zikorega na mafuta bakora byona chonka tuina ogoze document ne itukumanya ege information ne mu center kitoko tuli vulnerable tukozere ku affecting buli sector njo kula muna abayisi bagimanyire abakerate bagimanyire nabasubuzi including abasubuzi oboko abuzo omusubuzi omustingibizi we center obo otegeire nka na government yine information yenkozere ya kumanya kikubasa tujja kuremeringa poa kandi bwega buli hali tubura mbigambo then kya kabiri information ende ku television hati kandi tutahiro mu ekiziwe kintu agena mu East African community bakutugamba mu East Africa gena kufuka ihangalimu tujja kolesa sente zibu omuntu akurwa mu Kenya asabeze kujja hano ayombeka kuli na mahoteli chonka ite benyina ba leaders bakuheza information ite tukuruka tahanu kugenda kule Tanzania aba Tanzania bayino buga kujja kule hano mu Uganda ite tukumaye kumulego tusongenda kule kikumanyisa tuli mu kikintu ekitakumanya So tukwenda abroad information nikuti wetegereze African community kutuyamba kandi kusoka benefiting tuta nikuletwe estrike gigondeza. So bintu bingi including sazi nukutugamba tuna airport Kabala hapo esegeze fix months kutandika kyokka kwisego omuntu wano Kabala ina busobozi ekisokuyamba nkugamba timanyire akiso gamanyire zote kyonga Kabala timanyiro kandi eri haijja amailitali tukusoko boleka yo business kika kitingo zereki then ogaba tugembunda ati twago omuntu mutali inform.
Thank you.
Mana nuganyina omiro mu kufuna ebintu tumigirizibwa muno okwesanga nkayitwa bamu tukole mu yenda kyonkolo bakwetere enjugo kisakara takutunulira okuguru ngambo omulimu gwala akora higiro kunuko sona rora tokusobora gukora omulimu gukuturuka kugwa omuntu wonti obo kubulya boda pikipiki akusobola gitemba takurozera bari wakumara kurora kubera nakugamba nyo nkayingiza hano kandi n'ibintu tusobora nk'abandi so nindiro kikweta gisaba okusomesa ye public tumanye nkunayi tusobora gukora buli kimu mu mulimu kifuba mu bantu.
I'm going to talk about corruption. I know many people are fearing to talk about corruption. Corruption, most especially by some of the technical people. I want to give one example. If I go to the technical people, there is a pastor I know, and in my division, by the way, we lobbied for certain funding for elderly and orphans. But when this money came, everybody was supposed to be given 200,000, but he was making them sign for 20,000, and the balance was going to his pocket. He bought a very good car, but he said it got an accident. I think it was a punishment from God. Now, instead of this pastor looking after the orphans were looking after the pastor, who was already rich. I think we have to look at some of those issues. Then, this matter for SAGE, for the elderly, I don't know what is happening with our technical people. From the ministry, they bring money and tell you, this person is up to date, but they say he's demanding 3 months ago. But the documents are saying, they say it's up to date. You ask them, who signed for this money? Where did it go? And then the other issue is the SAGE. When they are paying and you cannot make it to the site where they are paying, you will never get that money. Even if you send your national ID. So I was asking one gentleman the other day, where do you take this balance that was supposed to be given to these people? That once money is released, our work is just to account. You are cheating himself 80 years, 90 years, and you think you will survive and God will bless you. So we really have to talk about corruption. Then lastly, in that regard, any entity that was formed or was created by an act of parliament has a budget. But what is happening? These people are hiding this money. Honorable Dennis, how much money came to Hoima City for the youth council, for example? Do you know that money? Do you know? Is the council at the city? Me as a mayor at the division, I'm not controlling the account because money is coming directly to the city. But these people will hide. Women Council, it was created by an act of parliament, and it has a budget, whether you want or you don't want. What we want is, whether this money is small, let it be declared, and people use it. I got that information, I think 2 days ago. I am coming to the city. I want to know youth councils, women councils, even people with disability council. All these people have budgets and the money comes, but it's not declared. Isn't that corruption? Me, I'm coming to the city next week. If I don't get answers, you'll see what will happen next.
Thank you,
Thank you so much. Facilitator Waitu. Let me use our local language. Abamembers abakira babaliza nsonga nyingi baitu kwenda kubazaho nsonga ya marriage. Marriage specifically abantu abalina obulema. Ogenda noyesanga mu community okwo still hakyali abantu abalina negative attitude towards kuswera oba kuswerwa omuntu ayina obulema. Noyesanga ngu omuntu aproposingire muntu we nagamba I want to marry Rehema. Family netandika kutolereza family y'omusajja. Who is Rehema? Nibateekamu n'abandi batolereza. Who is Rehema? Genda kwesanga ngu Rehema ni wolo omulema. Ngwe noba kuba mu meeting ni habawo silence of what? Moment of silence. Abantu bona nibabanza nibachuleera just because of having disability. Okwetegereza. So abantu bakyalinamu negative attitude abantu abalina obulema. Weta kusobora. Yet we are the same people as any other person. We have feelings like any other person without disability. We enjoy marriage even better than them. Yes, better than those people without disability. And more so, we are by the way faithful. People with disabilities, we are faithful in our marriages. But the public out there look at us as I don't know. Secondly, itwenka abantu abalina obulema. Titwina self-esteem. Titukwekiririzaamu itwenka okusanga tulo Burundi bagambire haliyo meeting ya LC1 hakyalo kyaitu noyesanga itwenka abantu abalina obulema tutagenzere mu meeting zaabo nobutukuba tugenze ntuyika ntuchulera ntulema no contributinga ensonga ezikututalibaniza omubyalo byaitu noyesanga obundi tukomera bakansalas nolemo yiwo omuntu alina obulema nokuba talina kiikalo kyonna mu leadership twala obujunaniza obwo okugenda hasite hali Rehema akurata n'omukanso hali Rehema akurata ikara olole Rehema ono nyakomere abaza oba kugwayo kutako kuwominga akateba ni waleta kachayi nanywa na saininga allowance n'ataha. So itwenka itwenaitu twekole mu mulimo nitwe twegarwire hansi twegare hansi tweka genda mu office za site okaguze mu budget Rehema na Dennis ono bakatubudgetingira yo baine bintu batubudgetingire inyo nkabakome baitu genda otolereze nkameya kwagambire genda otoze budget yaitu ekusoma sente zinga ekimanyira abantu abajja kuzikuwa efiga ye sente zitukuba tubudgeting katolereza esente ezo mwaka gwa hoiro ba budgetingire Dennis na Rehema esente ezo zikakoraki bakazikozesaki oyesanga ngo bakazihayo rundi tukazikoza twagenda ku clubbinga twagenda mu HB wale twagenda mu HB. So itwenka twekole mu mulimo mu abandi nabatandike koraki kuturecognizing and yeah, these people are there. Thank you so much.
This one goes I'm going to talk about especially a person who is the person with disability at the same time is HIV positive. In most cases okusanga omuntu ono wakuba aina family members abatakumwetegereza okusanga omuntu ogwo nasafaringa how ojja kusanga oba rundi ali mu kyara oba mwami mulema naho bulema time of getting his drugs ataina abakumusupportinga koraki ihembazo nosanga omuntu ogwo nafa in that way. So there is a need of to sensitize the family members or I don't know.
Thank you.
come in general and you come as disability. One, tuinekizibu when we come to politics. Inakuanza kugeneralize. One is remusende. Ekindi itu abantu abanyakwina obulema okusanga when you want to compete, for example, okwenda kuba mayor or you must sit. You have all the qualifications, but because you are disabled, once you stand, okaija kemera nolo msaiji onda ya ijure kurungi. They will say no, uko tutuku mkoma, tugenda koma, oli wakwa msaiji kuzoka kurungi. And they vote for him because he's iwe o inahe kizibu, oba tokura, oba tokubura, and they will not vote for you. Ekyo kim, ituenka within our house here, when they are voting, bakumanza kurura, oharugireyo. You have the qualification, but senior 6. But if you are down there, you have not worked and people will not look for you. They will look for someone. So you lose maybe the leadership because of money and the way you look. So I see I'm being marginalized because I'm weak. Then kuba oyesimbire no muntu atereke nikyo kusanga ebikale bindi bindi tukubyeganye and we come and fight for this one abukuba hanu niho tukujja kuteranganira tuina obulema then one defeats you basi nabo inakuba okozere ibara bakumanyire ngo oinanko kuoli okusobola kubahereza emitwalo ebiri. If you don't have, they will not.
On the point of the male cancer. It was 2020. We had one of our PWDs, a member. That gentleman is a little person. He contested, he wanted to be the chairperson, L3 in Kitova, 2020. And he contested, they are around 8. When they are still in, how do you call it? These primaries. And he was the best in the primaries. When they went for this one, for mainstream, the FDC, nowhere. So people try to campaign. How can you accept that gentleman, the little one, to be the chairperson LFC? And you find even some PWDs, they even the campaigning that little person. I have like 4 because I was forced to go there to have a meeting with them. Because they were campaigning, no, for us, we cannot allow this person to be the chairperson LCC. And yet, that gentleman said to me, I will not contest for this, the PWD position. I want to be the chairperson LCC. Because of that, the campaigning, yeah? Because of the campaigning, this one you cannot manage, because of that, that's a negative attitude. So later, the person who was the third or the 4th, he managed to go through. Because of some other PWDs, even here, they have that negative attitude themselves. And they cannot even support person with disability even to go even to another level. Because for them, they know, for me, I'm a council for PWDs, I'm supposed to be in this position. And yet we have the right also to compete for these mainstream positions. So yeah, us, we need them to change our team.
During the process of elections, I was boldly told that I have a disability and I should represent people with disability, stand on that, stick on that. I shouldn't involve myself on the post of the secretary. But me, I am the kind who tries my chances. You won't like squeeze me because I know my rights. I went ahead as like, no, I can also compete. I have the brains. So I competed. A few people believed in me, they voted for me, but of course, you know, as corruption speaks, yeah, the other person beat me. But I want to say that we need to sensitize, do more of sensitizing people, the community, and even our homes. We are stigmatized right from our homes. I remember one incident, my sister was introducing, you know, like when they're introducing the the sisters first come to the mukeka, and so I dress up with my crutches. So now I was like walking behind them. My uncle, my dear uncle, tells me right at you again, you get it? I was disappointed. I broke down and cried because I expect you to support me. Like, where am I going to get the self-esteem if I am put down right from my home? We need help, sensitization. Then the other issue is like about the crippled. Obambetera crippled. There are those people with disabilities. They're always on bed. Now we have this system of every Ugandan has to have an identity card. Kandi kufuna your bio data, biometrics, or in binocular you have to get. Hatuna usanga, like I have had issues. There are my friend Uganda and Babungira. Just sitting for 5 minutes. Bafuna pain ya man. Imagine kubayo mukyalo by jeba baikalize, you know how the systems work. Ikara wait, take photo, take it. You get? Umuntu nagaruka yali kubi muno. I don't know how this can be. Can't these people try to find a way of finding such people? Mumaka, bojoba kusasa. Thank you.
I think egoism of men. Some men have that egoism which makes them vulnerable. For example, when they have been, for example, if they have been involved in gender-based violence, or if they are being beaten by women, or these men are sexually harassed, they cannot go to report. So the egoism makes them vulnerable. So abasajja kugamba musajja barandira batani in the body of wante. Then on the side of our children, actually even their parents start calling them our children, like ours, if you advocate your children. Abana bani, you come, your children are here. Like the police calls, we come, we have your child who here with maybe a hearing impairment, you come. So the disability part also, the severity of the disability, as she was saying, makes some of these children vulnerable. Because the parents are lacking awareness, they even call them your children. And yes, and then the community not being aware of the rights of these children also makes these children vulnerable. And the makeup of services, how do I term it? Social services, for example, as they were saying, the schools, the public buildings makes these children more vulnerable. And some of them get tired and opt to drop out of schools.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I did a case study like Birungi Olivia, who passed on Saturday and was buried on Monday this week. Olivia was a lady using a wheelchair, a tricycle, and she had a business before COVID, but after the spread of COVID, she got more problems. First of all, she was being chased by her own relatives, and she told me she was administering real COVID. whereby no one was accepted to travel. And as a blind lady, I could not access her. But we could just talk on the phone and we could just make some contact. So, Olivia kept on with problems at heart. I think she was psychologically disturbed. In that process, she even fell sick. She was very anemic and there was no one to help her. I tried to mobilize some funds, but all in vain. People had no money. Everyone I could call, they could give me a negative answer. And I could not also help her as an individual. So, at last we brought her to the hospital. She could not even access medicine. She called me that there is no medicine in the hospital. I could not help her because also I had no money. So she failed to stay in the hospital, not until they took her back home and she ended up losing her life. But it was Monday this week. That was the effect of COVID. If it was not COVID, we would mobilize some funds as people with disabilities to help our colleagues for medication, but we could not do it because everyone was crying, there was no money. As COVID had hit almost everyone, left and right, north and south.
Thank you.